Welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio from Stewards Planning Group. Stewards Planning Group is a company that specializes in helping you build purposeful retirement plans, custom plans that not only help clients steward their treasure, but also their time and talent as well. They believe if you're taken care of financially, you can go even further to make the family, community, and kingdom impact you truly desire to make, which is the ultimate purpose of wealth. If you'd like to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with one of their financial advisors, please give them a call at 222-4236. You can request a meeting at stewardsplanning.com, or you can simply stop by their office on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Ben Taatjes, and in the studio with me again today, I brought Jonathan Shofner, one of our advisors. Jonathan, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, good. It's we kind of all took a deep breath of relief here after the April 15th tax filing deadline, and that's what I want to talk about today with our listeners. Don't look at this as a ending or like a finish line that you finally got your taxes done. And for a lot of people, they don't like doing their taxes. A lot of people don't even like thinking about finances in general, but certainly when you do your taxes, it creates this anxiety and angst sometimes. But when your CPA gets them back to you and you're done with your taxes, don't just think, I'm glad that's over, but think, what can I do next with this information? Right. So the couple steps I want to walk our listeners through today is, step one, review them. Review your taxes. Don't just file them. Most people just file their taxes and don't look at them again, and they just pile them up and wherever they're keeping them. I did this recently in my own tax situation. So I went through, I'm kind of a nerd. I have my tax return going back to 2002. So we're talking over 20 years ago, when I first moved to this area, and my wife and I were just newly married. We moved in from Indiana, and I remember that was the last time I filed moving expenses. One of the things that I noticed when looking back at my income taxes over the many years is just the little planning techniques and the things that I've done over the years. We did Roth conversions for years when the markets were low. We did a number of other things as well. And I think that's a great thing for people to do, is just start with 2026 and say, what did I do? What were maybe some missed opportunities, right? What could have I done a little bit differently? So I want you to think about, should have I shifted income? Could have I done a Roth conversion? Okay, maybe look at it as kind of a rear view mirror of things that I did that maybe I could have done differently. It's also good just to have an idea. The tax return tells us a lot about our financial situation. Where did our income come from? How much did I pay in taxes? I love having the answer of what was my effective tax rate. Not necessarily what tax bracket you're in, but what was my effective tax rate. Pretty easy to figure, right? You take your total taxes paid divided by your total income, and you can get a pretty good idea there what your actual taxes were. That also brings me to my next point, is potentially adjust your withholdings or the quarterly payments you're making. If you owed a large amount or maybe got a big refund, either way, you could better align your situation for next year, and you got to do it now, so you have enough of the time really of this year to make a change. The other thing, and I want Jonathan to comment on this because this is where you've really added a lot of value in our firm since you came, and we've been doing these, what we call a steward's plan. And we have, three, well, I guess if you include myself, four really talented advisors on the team. And all of the advisors who are meeting with our clients have designations. And that's something that we've pushed really hard. One of our core values is excellence, which means you're going to continually educate yourself to become really a better advisor, being able to follow through on advice well and to give advice that fits people's situation. So you recently finished up getting your CRPC, and maybe share with our listeners what that designation. Well, first of all, there's alphabet soup after so many advisors' names, right? I mean, we've got CFPs in the office, we've got CKA, and now CRPC, which is a designation you hold. Maybe just explain to listeners, what is that designation and what does it mean?
Yeah, absolutely. The CRPC is the Chartered Retirement Planning Counselor. In my opinion, just getting your securities license doesn't make you qualified, or it gives you the know-how to actually do full financial planning. So I really think learning and studying and finishing this designations has really put me in a better place to serve my clients, especially doing a steward's plan.
Oh, it's great. And I think the way I look at it is if I can pass an exam, I'm technically legal to practice. If I have my Series 7 and whatever else is needed to work in the securities business, but that's the absolute minimum, right? And that's something that I know when you came on, you said, I'm not just going to do the minimum, I am going to do more than that. And within a couple months of being here, you already got your CRPC, which is outstanding, by the way. In the meantime, you're taking on a ton of clients, doing a lot of work, and still being able to do that. So I commend you for doing that. I know we were talking before we jumped on the line here, one of our other advisors, Claire Molden's a CFP, and she passed that exam and did that education when she was out on maternity leave. So it tells you something about the team here and the really the commitment towards excellence. Again, it's one of our core values, and I commend you for that, Jonathan. And I know you've got plans to take more and to continue on down the path of becoming a CFP. So good work. Was it more challenging, less challenging than you thought when you got into it?
It was very challenging, especially with all the clients that I am trying to do planning for at the moment. So a lot of nights and weekends, but I think it was really helpful and beneficial for long-term trajectory as well as for my clients.
Yeah, I think the client benefit is so huge when we're able to combine. I've always thought, we're a wisdom-based business here. So what does that mean? That means we have to, build a great relationship with our clients. Okay, relationships are everything. We can't give advice if we don't know our clients. But then in order to know, right, in order to build the plan, you've got to, and really to provide that wisdom, you've got to stay up on the industry, tools and techniques, and the planning items that you learned taking that exam and taking education required, but also know how to apply it. And the only way to do that is have that great relationship with our clients. So as you kind of look, I know last time we chatted, we talked a lot about the first two steps of the steward's plan, and certainly answering the question of, what am I stewarding? Secondly, of what I'm stewarding, what do I need now and in the future to live on? That last one, we've had a lot of conversations about that one, which is, if I know what I have, I know what I need. What do I do with what's left over? And we can't give legal advice, but we can give a different type of advice, right? And that's something that you've been doing with a lot of our clients.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah, Jonathan, I'm excited for you, and I'm excited for the trajectory of really your career here. I mean, after 10 years in the industry, coming over, just moving to this area from Texas, but then also going just straight in, meeting with so many clients, getting the designations, and really pushing yourself. It's been fun to watch and fun to see, and that's really stewarding your time well, right? It's more than just, like we say, stewarding time, talent, treasure here. It's about making sure you're doing the most with what God's given you. So excited for you, excited for the future. From all of us at Stewards Planning Group, until next time, steward well.
Ben Taatjes, Jonathan Shofner, Kendra Peterson, and Claire Bolden are financial advisors at Stewards Planning Group. Securities offered through Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Cetera Investment Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. 1104 19th Avenue Southwest, Wilmer, Minnesota 56201. The views depicted in this material are for information purposes only and are not necessarily those of Cetera Wealth Services, LLC. They should not be considered specific advice or recommendations for any individual. Neither Cetera Wealth Services, LLC nor any of its representatives may give legal or tax advice.